Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tech Summit Podcast, episode 20. I'm Chris.
I'm Francisco.
And of course, remember everyone, if you are watching this on YouTube, our social media and all that jazz will be right here at the bottom of the video. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your podcasts, that will be in your respective descriptions.
Of course. Now, with that said, we do have quite a lot of topics on the table for tonight. But before that, I just want to let you guys know, just as a quick reminder, we do indeed have the Tech Summit Discord, so you can go ahead and join that through the link in the description. You should be finding that whether you are listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube. But we're going to start off tonight by actually talking about one of the most interesting and least expected things, in my opinion, to come from Apple, and that is going to be a foldable phone. There is, in fact, a prototype, according to CNET. And the prototype appears to have things like a seamless, or I want to say invisible hinge, where essentially like the crease or like where it would fold, it would be pretty tough to see, which would indeed help a lot with making foldable phones look better. Which, I mean, we have seen from devices like the Galaxy Flip, the Galaxy Fold 2, Motorola's Razer 2020 phone.
Pretty far off in the future there.
Yeah, I think I'm still on that blood orange drink, and I don't even realize it. Which we need more of, by the way, on this podcast.
You ran out?
Oh yeah, on that same night, I think.
You finished it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We definitely need more. But with that said, we have been seeing a lot of companies try out making their own foldable phones. They always end up being very expensive because they're more so like a novelty, super niche thing that only collectors would want, or somebody that is like genuinely in the market for wanting to try something new and innovative. I personally don't see this taking off very well. I don't think foldable phones are the future.
Me neither. So I find the... was that you or me?
That was me.
Okay. So I see foldable phones as a very nice novelty. It's interesting how you can have this sort of smaller screen that just folds out to a bigger one. The problem that I personally feel is that, yes, you do run the risk of like higher damages or more noticeable damages with things like the creases. Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that it's foldable also tends to usually lead to a much thicker phone, which is really tough to fit when you're, in like, say, for example, jean pockets. Yeah. For example.
If you like to wear skinny jeans like me, then...
Exactly. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
A jacket pocket, sure, and even then it's going to be a little bulky, but like something like actual jeans, like during the summertime, you're not really going to be able to have that. That's, you're going to start to have to, carry a purse around for your phone.
And it's also heavier, for instance. So if you're somebody that likes to wear shorts or something like that, you don't want most of your pants to be covered up by that, because it's going to be super noticeable, and you don't want people to think that you're too happy to see them.
Right, exactly. So I like the idea of foldable phones, but I also don't think it's something that's really going to move further. And I'm kind of surprised that Apple is going with this, because I thought the foldable phone fad had already burned itself out over the past year with, after Samsung and other stuff.
I did too, yeah. Like, especially considering how many problems we saw with the first Galaxy Fold, where that phone was breaking left and right. And there were a lot of recalls done, and then they released the second generation, which did do a lot better, but still too expensive for most people to be able to afford it, to be able to try it out and things like that. So we had other companies like Motorola released the Motorola Razer, and that phone obviously didn't sell incredibly well because it's a foldable phone that is more expensive than your typical, fail-safe smartphone that you're used to seeing.
Right.
I, for one, don't really see much of a benefit to having two displays on a phone.
I think there's use for it, but a lot of it comes down to the form factor. So let's use an example. This is my phone. Granted, there's a case on here, but this is a Pixel 3a. So look at the thickness of this phone. Now imagine folding this on itself. Suddenly you go from this to something more like this.
Yes, it's like a sandwich in your pocket.
And that's that's really thick.
Yeah.
That's 2 double stuffed Oreos thick or something like that. I feel like foldable phones, in order to have any sort of appeal, needs to have by default a significantly slimmer form factor. I'm talking less than half the thickness of this.
Yes.
Then it would make sense, because then when you fold it, it's not going to be all that much.
Yeah.
That when we reach that kind of technology, that makes a little bit more sense. But even then, by the time we do reach that technology, we're probably going to be, developing something like holographic displays that would, eliminate the need for needing a bigger on-screen display, because you'll just have a holographic projection that widens out the display compared to your screen.
Have you ever heard of a holographic keyboard?
Yes, I know those exist.
Okay. All right.
But we haven't
I was
gotten
just
that.
curious.
We haven't gotten that for phones yet, though. Like for an actual phone display.
Right.
Like I'm talking about, you have the phone display, and then like holographic pops up and makes a bigger display.
Once upon a time, I thought that the future was going to be 3D displays for phones, but I mean, we also thought that 3D TVs were going to be the future, and that flopped pretty bad.
Everyone was just trying to ride the wave of James Cameron's Avatar blowing up the 3D film industry.
Yeah. And that could very well be seen with the 3DS, which, I mean, a lot of people hated the 3D. I liked the 3D, but I also couldn't use it for long.
Exactly, yeah. The 3D on the 3DS was cool, and I thought the technology was innovative, but it was also not something that was going to be used very often.
Yeah.
Only because of the eye strain on top of the battery life.
Right, yeah. And, for it to not really be straining on your eyes, it would have to be developed in such a way that it would be better suited for use with 3D glasses or something like that.
It's especially interesting, too, because 3D was such this weird fever dream fad that burned itself really way out in the tech industry.
Yeah.
But the movie industry, which is where it really started to come up, especially after James Cameron's Avatar, it's not huge, but it still exists. It still persists to this day.
And you can still pay extra to watch a movie in 3D.
Most people won't do that.
I will.
I will, because I have AMC A-list, or at least I did before certain events happened.
Yeah.
But like I will do it, especially if the show time is very convenient. It's like, oh, this is the best time for me to be watching the movie. It just happens to be in 3D. Okay. But on the whole, most people will not shell out the extra $10+ for a 3D ticket.
Whoa. I mean, well,
I say 10
seen
plus.
that.
I say 10 plus because they're assuming that you're going with multiple people. Let's say, for example, if you're going with 4 people, you're going with an entire family.
Yeah.
You're talking maybe a $4, $5, $6 increase for a 3D ticket times 4. So you're talking an extra $20, $24 for a 3D ticket as opposed to regular ones, plus the concessions, which have always been price hiked because that's how most movie theaters make their money. I don't know if anyone knows that, but most movie theaters do not make their money off the ticket sales. They make most of their money off the concessions. That's why the popcorn is like $10.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I mean, I do agree with that much, but I don't know. I've never had that experience of a 3D ticket costing $6 or $8 more. And mind you, I've gone to movie theaters here in the city.
In New York, I mean, I feel like that is the commonplace thing. The 3D tickets tend to cost a good deal more. It's been
usually $3 to $4 more though, from my experience.
I don't know. I recall movie theater tickets often being in the realm of say $16, $17 for a standard 2D ticket, and then closer to $22, $23 for a 3D ticket, and maybe a couple extra dollars more if it was an IMAX.
I haven't had that experience myself. It's actually been pretty different on my end.
Do you usually go to movies in
Times Square? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and what you would expect to be the most expensive places in the entire state. But yeah, even then,
maybe my memory is extremely fuzzy because I haven't really paid for a regular movie ticket in over 2 years now. Because I spent half a year on Movie Pass, then a year on AMC's A-list.
There's Game Pass, there's Movie Pass.
And now don't do Movie Pass. It's dead now anyway. But yeah, you had 6 months on Movie Pass, a whole year on AMC's A-list, and then a whole year of no movie theaters at all.
Yeah, that's fair. Right now, don't invest on that. Just get Netflix, right? Or Disney Plus.
I mean, some places you can, in fact, go to movie theaters, but there's no movies really coming out because most of them have delayed it. indefinitely.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
That's
just
very true.
just to use an example, I know we're veering very far off topic from the foldable phones, but just to use an example, you said HBO Max. Warner Bros. Has already said that all of their big movies for 2021 are going to be coming to HBO Max alongside movie theaters.
Interesting.
So, say for example, Wonder Woman came out on Christmas Day on HBO Max. They're doing the exact same thing for the Tom and Jerry movie, for Godzilla versus Kong. They're doing that for the Suicide Squad.
The Tom and Jerry movie.
It looks like a perfectly inoffensive kids movie.
Okay.
Not every movie is going to be targeted towards adults.
Right.
But anyway, you get my point.
Yeah.
All of their movies, including their massive blockbusters, including Dune even, which is a scary one in my opinion, Dune is also going to be going straight to HBO Max.
Okay.
Negating the use for movie theaters in a time where, at least for New York, movie theaters are not open yet.
Right.
Outside of like the local ones, like IFC Center, I believe is open, but like AMC and Regal are not open here in New York. They might be open in other states. Movie theaters, I imagine, are also open in other parts of the world, but not in here in New York.
Yeah, for sure. Here in New York, I mean, we are still basically in business lockdown when it comes to a lot of places, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Of
with
course.
that said, yeah.
Of course, a foldable phone does have a use in that does give you that bigger display so that way you can enjoy movie theater level quality on your phone.
So I suppose.
So what is the resolution on the folded
whoa.
phone?
Movie theater quality?
I'm exaggerating.
Definitely
I am.
exaggerating. Yeah, you better
hold
use
on,
that
yeah.
button.
No, wrong one. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely exaggerating, but that does make me wonder, what is the display resolution on the foldable
On a foldable phone, it's usually going to be, I think, just a little bit higher than your typical, which is around QHD or 1440p.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I mean,
Does the resolution change between the two displays? Naturally, it does, right?
what do you mean?
The folded display versus the unfolded display. What is the resolution?
Oh well, I mean, it would increase in the sense that it would just stretch. So it would be the same resolution per se, but it would just
So it's just 1440p, but on a more stretched, longer screen.
like call it wide QHD.
That
per
is
se.
awful.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I mean,
I do not like that.
You advocated for for more of a movie theater kind of experience, but
Yeah, and movie theaters don't stretch like that. They don't stretch the quality like that.
yeah, they also don't shrink it. But
David Lynch in shambles.
there you go.
You're not
everybody.
going to get that one.
No,
I
no.
hope the audience does. I hope the audience gets that one.
You guys will. I hope.
With that said,
for someone else to
so
say.
I guess we're in kind of a wait and see to see exactly what Apple's doing with this. Honestly, it's entirely possible it never comes out anyway. It's possible it's just a failed experiment.
It could be the case. I mean, they were also supposedly working on another project where it was supposed to be. I forgot exactly the name of it. It was Air something, where you would just charge everything in one place.
Well, like a little cubby or something like that.
Yeah,
Like you're in
I think-
kindergarten, you get a little cubby, you put all your Apple devices in there.
I mean, it was more like a giant wireless charging pad where like everything would just charge on that pad.
Oh,
Like,
okay, so it's an Apple P pad.
yeah, an Apple P pad, right? Like you would just put your laptop on there, your phone, your watch, your AirPods, and everything would charge there. And they ended up canceling the project. I bet they kind of regret announcing it too. I mean, because Apple doesn't usually do that. Like they don't just mention something and then say, "Oh yeah, no, it's not coming anymore." Like that. At least from what I have seen, it has been a very rare occurrence.
Right. Well, this foldable phone thing, did they formally announce it, or is it just like a sort of leak or rumor?
No, like it is. It has been reported on that
It has
Apple.
been reported on, but has Apple themselves come out and say, yeah, this exists?
From what it appears to be the case
Okay.
that yes, they are indeed working on this.
Okay.
I mean, they even have a prototype.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like this is something that is very likely to happen. Apparently, could be a thing for 2021. Most likely for 2022, but we'll see for that.
Right.
Yeah.
But with that said,
With that said, we do have a lot more and a lot of interesting things over here. For one of the things that I have kept a very close eye on has been Amazon's own Echo Loop, which is something I'm very interested in, considering that I'm somebody that likes to wear rings, and this is a black ring, which would suit me quite well.
tell us about it.
Well, this ring has Alexa built onto it, obviously,
Mhm.
and you can just talk to it, and it'll do stuff for you. So you can go, "Hey Alexa, I want you to play Despacito too."
So, okay, that's where my first question comes up.
What's up?
You can talk directly into the ring.
Yes.
You can look like an anime character, talk it directly into your face.
Yes, and summon your persona right there. With
You
your
know,
ring.
you're like Alexa. But so with that said, though, does this ring have speakers on it?
I was
Like,
actually.
how does Alexa respond to you?
I think you would have to connect the ring to your phone, and then it would communicate in that sense. So like whatever you say to the ring, it'll do stuff on your phone.
So you say, like, what I tend to use my Amazon Echo at home for, Alexa, what's the weather? Is like my phone just gonna start like muffling in my pocket, being like the weather today? Like what's gonna happen there?
That's most likely the case, though.
That doesn't seem very useful then.
I was kind of thinking though that, like, I was thinking of a scenario where you would already have earphones on, and it would just like project that back onto your ears.
I feel like, I know it sounds a little silly, but I feel
do
like
see
if
your
you're
point.
doing something like this, the more useful thing would be to just have speakers on the ring itself, so you can ask
Mm-hmm.
and then just hear a response.
So everybody, they can just hear your business going like, "Hey,
It
everyone."
doesn't have to be a loud one. Stop. You can adjust the volume.
Go like this.
No, you can adjust the volume on the app on your phone, but like
Or you can just like swipe the ring. It'll like go up and down.
just twist it.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love that.
Just
I
twist
want
the
this
ring.
even more now after this
Twist the
conversation. That would be incredible. Though, I mean, like an actual knob, that would be sick, though. As I've seen, it is just one slab of, well, I assume it's not glass, but
Well, again, twist the ring, not turn a knob on the ring.
like
Twist the
as a
ring.
gesture.
Yeah.
That would still be really cool. I would love to see
Yeah, don't put
something like
knobs
that.
on the ring. Make it a nice, clean form factor.
Yeah, like a. Oh my goodness, I would love that. Now I want it even more.
So
I definitely want
this
it
is
even
also
more.
reminding me a little bit of when it comes to wearable technology like this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was that was currently, I'm not talking about several years in the past, because I know who you're thinking of when I say this, that was developing smart glasses, not Google Glass.
Snapchat?
No, not even Snapchat. It wasn't Apple, was it?
No.
Hold on.
Apple was not
there was
working on
somebody-
smart glasses.
There was somebody that was working on smart glasses in the year 2020, 2021.
Couldn't have been Apple.
I'm pretty sure it was someone else that was working on them. Was it Microsoft again?
Microsoft is more likely.
I know Microsoft has the HoloLens, but
Right. Or the Halo lens. Huh.
there was somebody who was working on it. But yeah, it wasn't Google, because Google Glass did not work out.
There we go.
Yeah.
I need to give myself credit if
Good. Facebook.
Okay. There
Terrible idea. Facebook. Oh, Amazon Echo Frames.
Oh. It was
Amazon. Okay, it is Amazon.
Right back to the topic now.
Right back to the Alexa stuff
Yeah.
again. Yes, Amazon Echo Frames.
My ring will communicate with my glasses.
Okay, let's see. Whether Amazon Smart Specs. This is by wearable.com. WAREABLE. We'll have a link in the description, maybe.
My goodness. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can have that. It's going to be a tough one for you guys to find out.
In either case, we already spelled out the website so you can see this. But we're just citing our sources here. The best smart glasses, AR smart glasses for 2021. Yeah, whether Amazon Smart Specs become available to the masses is likely to come down to how well they are received through the invitation-only program. It's invitation-only.
No, yeah. I've applied to a couple of their invitation-only programs, and I never get invited, unfortunately.
I'm curious. I am curious, but when it comes to something like the smart glasses here, I don't know how they're intending to get around the base issue that everyone had with Google Glass. Because I'll be honest with you, Google Glass, when it was first announced, I also thought it was extremely cool. But everyone else said it was a terrible idea because it is way too easy for someone to creep on people with it. You know, because you can just look at someone down the street and just like wink at them and take a picture or whatever. You know, and then you got a lot of creep shots, and that's a very true case.
Let's get rid of that functionality.
And I'm trying to figure out, how are they getting around this issue now?
Well, they can just not have that feature on there. You know, like just
No
not have
camera?
a camera. Yeah, just not really have a camera, and instead just have like a display built onto it where you could use it for maps or something.
That could definitely do a lot to sort of mitigate that problem, but
It's not perfect.
one of the things that a lot of people I imagine would really want smart glasses for is like, say, for example, real-time GPS or whatever. And to have real-time GPS, for example, that gives you like a wayfinder,
Yeah.
for example, kind of like what video games have or whatever. To have something like that, you kind of would need a camera on front, so that way you can calculate the actual location and like give you that wayfinder and then give you the direction, for example,
Well, I would say that
as
it
opposed to
being
just
able-
map directions.
I mean, I'd suppose that it being able to communicate with a satellite might be good enough, like just very similarly to how a regular GPS system would work. But then again, I do see that being a massive issue for people who drive. Having it
You should not.
display
No,
right in
no.
your eyes.
There should in fact be a rule in place that does not allow them to drive with these things on. Either that, or the manufacturers themselves have a sort of like driving mode.
Or
where-
like how
where-
Pokemon Go does it.
Like Pokemon Go has it, or like even Spotify, where if it detects that you're in a vehicle, for example, it'll go immediately into a sort of driver mode that disables a lot of those functions, for example, that could obscure your vision.
I see.
Either that, or again, just make them not legal for driving. I do think the driver mode will be a lot easier to enforce, just because you could get pulled over and it's like, "What are you wearing?" And you're just like, "I'm wearing regular specs. I'm wearing Ray-Bans." It's like,
and there you go. Well, let me see your glasses.
yes,
Lies. It
Exactly.
Says, it says Echo Frame right here.
Yeah.
You're going to jail, buddy.
exactly. So I'm very interested in things like that. I'm also interested in the Ring.
Yeah.
Same thing. According to these specs here, they are saying that they use mics as well as 4 directional speakers that let you talk to its Alexa smart assistant without others hearing the responses.
Yeah.
I imagine something like that can also be possible for the Ring.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Most certainly. I mean, I'm sure that it should be able to offer some kind of haptic feedback as well.
Right.
Like I don't know, like it vibrates in your ring.
Is there anything else that we know?
So far, I mean, considering that it has been only like invitation only, there isn't too much that is known about this.
So-
And it is still a beta product.
So you can get an invitation for both the Ring and the glasses.
Well, so far the ring has actually been closed out. You can no longer apply for an invitation.
Oh,
Yeah, and sadly, I never got invited.
it's probably the same thing with,
The glasses,
yeah.
most likely. I actually haven't. Well, I think I have heard of the glasses beforehand, but I don't remember them being specifically from Amazon. So, I mean, I find that to be super interesting, and I do really like that Amazon is working on kind of like this ecosystem of wearables that I am way more likely to wear because I actually really don't like wearing smart watches.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the, I mean, smartwatches are perfectly fine. I do like the idea of glasses just because I like the,
I mean, you wear glasses already.
I am, but
Yeah.
I'm going to date myself a little bit here. For those who grew up in the 2000s, I remember Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. I always like the idea of being like Cookie, where he has the super glasses that just show everything.
Yeah.
And so I liked that. And the fact that we're this close, that's why I really like Google Glass, because it was promising that. I'm just like, wow. So the fact that we're getting close to it is great. I'm just wondering if they're figuring out the issues when it comes to those possible privacy concerns that people had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with the Ring too. The Ring also could probably have some privacy concerns too, namely that it would it probably has a GPS attached to it, so like it would know your location. But then again,
Mm-hmm.
phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. This
Yeah. I feel like we've already compromised ourselves in some way,
Which
in one
is
shape or another.
just so very unfortunate. Like all of this technology would be really cool if it wasn't for the privacy concerns.
Right. Yeah. Like, sadly, you are giving up your privacy in one shape or another. So I guess in this case, like, since you have a smartphone, you've already offered up your privacy to whichever company you bought the phone from. I mean, they have your data. Some are allowed to sell it, some aren't. Or some might be like, no, we would never sell your data. But, obviously you can't trust these companies since they appear to be allowed to lie to you. But anyway, another fantastic Amazon project is going to be Project Luna, which is going to be the competitor to Google Stadia, xCloud, right?
Yes.
Okay, xCloud, not Game Pass, because I used to get that wrong all the
xCloud.
time. Yeah, xCloud and GeForce Now. So it's going to be a very special competitor. I believe that I did actually see a controller at some point for it as well. Though that has actually been running since last year. It's not something that everybody can access. It's just it was also an invitation only thing that I did not get invited to. I applied for the invitation, but I didn't get it. And you know, it would have been really nice. But supposedly they were going to bring like a bunch of developers in, and it was going to be the super exciting thing that currently is on the works, but it's not open to the public quite yet. So that's something that I'm very excited about. But there are also some very exciting things regarding CES. And one of them, actually, that you and I were both super excited about was a drone from Sony.
Oh, you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, really? I thought we were going to wait until Saturday for that. All right. So, all right.
I decided, you know what? A Chromebook.
You want to do
Everyone's
it
heard
right
about
now?
the Chromebook.
Okay, we're going to do this right now.
Yep.
We're not waiting until Saturday for this one. Oh, right.
No, you guys are going to get this one now.
Sony has developed a small drone that is capable of wielding their alpha mirrorless cameras, the Sony AirPeak.
Yes.
It is a fantastic looking device that is apparently supposed to be the smallest drone ever capable of toting its alpha camera system. And
it looks massive.
so the idea is very much professional grade photography and film work with, you know, this kind of stuff. Because as mentioned in the article by Slashgear, citing our sources again, Slashgear, thank you.
Yeah.
Point and click with fixed lens photography is not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that's very much been stamped out by smartphones. But for professional grade things like film and photography, that's very much still a booming market.
Yeah.
Especially as these things become a little bit more accessible, and especially as we develop technology such as drones, which just takes things like photography and film work to a whole new level.
Yes.
And much more accessible, too, compared to in the past where you would have to make a massive rig for this, and that kind of rig or crane system would only be accessible for the top of Hollywood production companies.
Or literally rent a helicopter and have a Steadicam on you.
There's that
To
too.
get that footage.
There is that too. I was thinking more on the film side of things, but yeah, there is that. There's also that too. Now, a friend and I once flew a drone when we were filming a documentary over in Coney Island, and the footage was fantastic. And that drone, I believe, wasn't even that expensive. I think in the long run, it was like $500 or $600.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
And it was just, I think it was standard 1080p footage. So imagine having a drone that's apparently even smaller, possibly, and is capable of supporting a Sony Alpha camera. And keep in mind, Sony cameras are among the best in the market. Am I correct?
For certain things, yes. They're definitely a preference for a lot of reasons. Things like autofocus are very done so well on Sony cameras. Even if you're using a slower lens like the one that we currently have attached over here, which we actually have a stock 16 to, I believe, 42 millimeter lens. Or 52 millimeter, not sure, but it is like the stock one that comes with the Sony A6400 at the base model. Fantastic. This is a fantastic lens. It's still super fast when it comes to autofocus and things like that. So this is going to be really exciting, obviously. However, like looking at this camera in contrast to the drone, this drone looks gigantic. In the camera that they have here, I recognize it. This is a Sony A7 Mark III, not this one.
Yeah, I might be mistaking I might be getting my perspectives wrong because I keep thinking, oh yeah, that's pretty small, and I don't realize that is a regular sized camera attached to it.
No, yeah, this is a full frame camera. The camera that we're
that
currently...
is in fact an issue that I'm having. But nevertheless, it's still a smaller drone than a lot of other drones that would carry professional photography equipment like a camera like this.
I guess so. I guess it's just that when I think of drones, I kind of think of the ones that you would usually attach like a GoPro to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. A GoPro is nice, but it's obviously a lot more limited compared to, say, you know, a Sony Alpha camera.
Right.
Especially if it turns out, now keep in mind, we don't know the specs necessarily. We don't know the specs yet. Sony hasn't revealed specs. They haven't revealed a release date. They haven't revealed
even
the
price.
Cost.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is probably going to be astronomically high, especially given that it's Sony. But
it's Sony and it's a drone.
But like, if this drone also allows the ability to, like, you know, say for example with the controller that it comes with, or app, if you're using your phone to control the drone, if it turns out that through that app you can also adjust the actual camera specs, like the ISO or the aperture, that is game changing compared to a lot of drones out there that have built-in cameras or that just use a GoPro that is a fixed set thing.
So there's already, I believe that you should be able to do this already as is, because you can indeed connect the vast majority of cameras through Wi-Fi to a smartphone app, and you can control it that way. Adjust ISO.
It'd be a lot easier if you did it all in that one app, though. In the one app that you're also controlling the drone with.
No, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that is most likely the intention. By the looks of it, it looks like it should be able to connect directly by some kind of port here. Probably the accessory port. That once upon a time used to be a pretty big thing. But I am super excited for this. I think you are too.
I would definitely say so, yeah.
The biggest downside besides price that I can think of for this, and the size, I suppose as well, it's really just the fact that drones are majorly illegal here in New York.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that one, but that's definitely going to be an issue as well. Drone laws in many places. New York is one of them, but there's other places as well where drones are not legal to fly around.
Yeah.
It's a problem. We need to figure out exactly how to handle that. It's obviously a legislative thing, and we are not Legislative Summit. But
no.
I mean, I understand the reason why a lot of drones are banned. Like, we've already seen the horror stories. We've seen the clips. There's that one particular clip where someone tried to fly a drone in Times Square and rammed it straight into one of the glass windows that is in Times Square, which, runs the risk of injuring somebody, both with the drone or the glass.
And you can spy on people, too, using a drone like that. Like a lot of privacy issues.
Yeah.
So I do also understand very much why there's so many restrictions behind a drone. But, for somebody like me that wants to use it for non-nefarious purposes, that hopes to use it in an open area, where people are a lot less likely to get hurt.
I mean, I like the idea of being able to fly a drone in Times Square, but I also like
Same.
the idea that you probably should get a license to do so.
I totally get that.
I can see that being a thing, that maybe you do training to get a license to fly in congested areas.
Yeah. But unfortunately, like in the city, I think there are only maybe one or two places that you can legally use a drone in.
Very small areas, and even then it's full with a whole lot of yellow tape. That's sort of, in the end, it kind of just comes down to just being illegal throughout the city.
Yeah.
Even in the areas where it's perfectly fine to, there's a lot of catches and loopholes, and just it's not.
Yeah. So this is still something I would love to invest in, but I will probably have to get an Airbnb somewhere else.
I was going to say, you're probably going to have to wait until you're in Montana to really make it. I mean, you get some beautiful state parks there, Yeah,
I don't see myself going to
views.
Montana, though.
Yeah, amazing views out there, maybe. No population. Nobody's there except for the bears.
Yeah, the bear. I mean, if I want to go somewhere with no population, I'll just go to Minnesota.
And on that diss to Minnesota, of course, we should probably start summarizing and wrapping up a little bit here.
Yeah. So essentially, a lot of the many interesting things that came to CES, I guess we could say that Philips here is going to come out with this wall switch that I believe is also supposed to behave as a hub, which if that's the case, it might be able to justify that $170 price tag.
Yes, of course, that's some smart home stuff, and I do think smart homes is something we can and probably will talk about in the future on this podcast, because smart homes do seem to be a big thing that's going to be coming up in the next couple of decades.
Yeah, and we're also going to have more things like Chromebooks coming up, such as the Acer Chromebook Spin 514 and the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook 2. So it looks like Chromebooks are still staying low when it comes to price tags, under $500, which is good. I think that's pretty decent.
The Acer one has some pretty good specs, though, and we'll talk about that one soon, shouldn't we?
Yeah, actually, Ryzen 3000 series. So
yes, definitely.
Hey, I would say that's a pretty fast Chromebook.
And of course, on the side that is not related to what you usually talk about, but something that I'm kind of interested in.
Go for it.
I don't like to usually say, oh, we're going to do this next week or whatever, but we are, in fact, going to cover... Whoa, brief edit. All right, so very interesting edit choice over here. Francisco had to dip out for a brief moment. But we don't usually like to talk about things that are going to be coming up on the next episode or whatever it may be. But Next episode, we are going to talk about something that I personally find very interesting, and that is the increasing development of robotics and the technology for robots and AI as we continue on in these, we're going to say, unprecedented times. There's a lot of technology that has been shown off at CES that sort of hints towards how a lot of robotics companies are really sort of adapting to current circumstances. A lot of stuff that puts emphasis on being able to go places and do things that us humans cannot currently do, with our current situation. And so all of that is very interesting stuff that I personally want to talk about next time on the Tech Summit podcast. And I'm sure Francisco is going to sit there and nod and be like, yes, as as it is. So, very interesting stuff. We're going to look forward to that as well. And I hope you guys look forward to that too. We're also going to be talking a little bit maybe about smart appliances because, again, I want to continue my microwave search. And whoa, edit change again. Francisco's back.
Hi.
Now, so yeah, there was a lot of stuff at CES, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of exciting things. But with that said, to all of you, thank you so much for stopping by.
We are, in fact, going to start wrapping up now, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you are watching us here on YouTube, our social media is right over here at the bottom of the video.
And if you're listening, then you can just expect it to be in the respective description of whichever app you are using.
Exactly. I hope you guys stick around with us for more coverage of tech news and CES a little bit. I know we're going at it a little slower than we initially sounded like we were going to with the episode covering what we hope to expect from it, but there's a lot of stuff at CES, a lot of different industries, a lot of different stuff to talk about that can stretch out multiple episodes, really. And, hopefully you guys are there to enjoy the entire ride with us.
Yeah, of course. And we would love to hear your takes in the comments, again, if you're on YouTube. But with that said, this has been Francisco.
I'm Chris.
And until next time.
Good night. Travel well.